On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a couple of subjects to cover from Telerico toppling Jasmine Crockett. We've got that. Should we trust Telerico? We've got Marjorie Taylor Greene turning blue on Donald Trump and MAGA. We definitely can't trust her. And then we've got this issue of the Iran war and what I think is really happening. We're going to get into all that. Be sure to comment. The Lamont Tyson Politics of Being Black show. We start right now.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
Yes, you're in the building with me, Lamont Tyson. Please subscribe. Everybody that's new here, in 1 month, I've got 19,000 new subscribers. And I want to say hello to all of y'all that are listening or chiming in or catching on the replay. Thankful to have you. You're going to get hardcore left-leaning politics. I should just go ahead and say democracy-style politics, because everything else that's going on is fascism, is oligarchies, it's a technocrat takeover, and you're not going to get that here. You're going to get progressive politics. And today we've got several stories. I actually have a sponsor now, so I'll turn you guys on to my sponsor in a little bit. First thing I think we should jump into, I think that Telerico is kind of a hope in a bad situation story. So I'll save him for the next part. Let's go ahead and jump into what's going on with this Iran war. I got my big homie. This video comes from him. Take a look, subscribe. His link will be in the description.
They're calling it a victory. The supreme leader is dead and Iranians are celebrating, they say. But at least 3 U.S. service members have been killed. Hundreds of Iranians are dead. 150 killed at a girls' school in Iran. Dozens at the U.S. consulate in Pakistan. The Strait of Hormuz is on lockdown. And thousands of Iranians are once again in the streets chanting, "Death to America." As George W. Bush learned in Iraq, the consequences of war don't end with a mission accomplished sign. The death toll will rise, destruction will continue, and vengeance may come years later. All for a war of choice. Like the attack on Venezuela, the war in Iran is a manufactured crisis, brought to you this time by America's scandal-plagued president and Israel's scandal-plagued prime minister. They pulled out of President Obama's nuclear deal, bombed Iran's nuclear facilities, claimed that they were totally obliterated, reopened negotiations, and then assassinated Iran's leaders while talks were still happening to destroy the same program they said was already gone. The U.S. loves to bully weaker countries, and that's the problem. We know how to start wars, but not how to end them. Every bomb dropped in a foreign hospital, school, or apartment building that we soon forget about stays etched in the memories of the survivors. That's how we got here in the first place. Our government helped overthrow Iran's democratically elected leader in 1953. Propped up the Shah to be their dictator for 25 years, and set the stage for the 1979 Islamic Revolution that still haunts us today. I don't support Iran's government. They imposed religious rule, restricted freedom of the press, stifled dissent, took away women's rights, and killed LGBTQ people. But those are some of the same things that MAGA wants to do in this country. 2 wrongs don't make a right, and Iran's abuses don't justify America's illegal and unprovoked war. Trump came into office promising no new wars, but in the past year, he's attacked 7 countries, Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen, and threatened others like Greenland. Meanwhile, he's manufactured an immigrant invasion in Minneapolis and Los Angeles to justify an ICE war in America's cities. Then he hyped his base to believe he had to murder fishermen in the Caribbean to stop drug trafficking, but quickly moved on once he got hold of Venezuela's oil. And the great hypocrisy is that America loves to lecture black people to practice nonviolence. But when the powerful want something, whether it's indigenous land, free black labor, cheap oil, or to overturn a U.S. election, they repeatedly choose force over diplomacy. Violence isn't their last resort. It's their first instinct.
Shout out to my boy Keith Boykins. He is absolutely right. And before I get into my tirade on it, let me shout out my boy Tim Windsor, ladies and gentlemen. This subscriber has been with me almost since day one. He's been here since 2017. He's seen me do tech. He's seen me do fitness. He's seen me do movie and TV show reviews. And now he's still here for the transition into the next phase, which is politics. He is retiring today. This was his last day of work. Shout out to him. This man has sent me so much money in super chats over the years. I don't know what to say other than thank you. So happy you're still here. My brother, may you rest easy. May your retirement be whatever you want it to be, whether it's going to an island just as long as it ain't named Epstein, whether it's going grocery shopping every day, whether it's working with the family members, whatever you do, brother, I wish you well. And what's up, Shonda? Now back to this situation with Trump and everything my boy Boykin said. He is absolutely right, ladies and gentlemen. He's absolutely right. Those of us that are not in the MAGA cult, we knew Trump was lying the whole time. We knew it. We knew it was a lie. And what he's been doing comes from that 2025 playbook bull jive. Because what they're trying to do is what the colonizers did. If we've got the arsenal, the tech, and the manpower to take it over, we're going to do it. And here's the sad thing. Do you think the people on the front lines are the ones sitting at the top, stuck on the Epstein list? Absolutely not. They're scary asses. You got people like Trump who got out of being drafted, faking bone spurs and shit. You got Stephen Miller. If you was to drop him in any hood in America, all that tough talk you see him doing on TV, you would see brown in his pants because he's not that tough. All those people who need to be on the front lines getting their ass kicked have got a lot of people, sons and daughters, who didn't want to go to college, couldn't find a way, say to themselves, maybe I'll go to the military for a little bit, get some of that GI money, come back, go to college. Shouldn't even be in war right now. They shouldn't be experiencing this. And I can tell you from me hiring some people in my respiratory business that worked in the military, it changes you. There's no wonder why when people go to war, a lot of them come back addicted to something: alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling. They struggle to find their way back here because the type of things they experienced over there is unbelievable. Like, you can't even imagine the heinous things they see. And then they've got to try to come back into civilian life. We're in this war, ladies and gentlemen, because we're trying to cover up the Epstein files. Everybody surrounding Trump, including Netanyahu, he's got an attachment to the files too, being that Epstein himself was an agent of chaos. He was a Mossad agent. He was working basically for Russia, for Israel, and he's got dirt on these people. And it doesn't just hurt the rich ass American white dudes who's in the Epstein files. It also would hurt international people who are in these files that help launder the money, that help traffic the girls, that run around here all sanctimonious and shit, telling you to thump your Bible while behind your back, they ain't thumping no Bible, they thumping women. Women that they shouldn't be thumping. And that's what this war is all about. And we shouldn't even be calling this shit a war. We shouldn't be over there. And hopefully some of MAGA is peeling off, but you're going to always have that 20% that no matter what Trump does, they're going to defend him. I just posted a short video the other day on how a MAGA called in to my boy Dean Withers' show and was trying to defend the indefensible of Trump being in the Epstein files and likely done something to those young girls. Dude was like, so what? He's in the files. And I'm thinking to myself, if Dean, if you was black, you'd be like, nigga, please. You know good and well why that's a problem. And Boykins gave another great fact too. He basically said, black people have been vilified. Black people have been vilified as the ones that are always angry. We're always unruly. We're always trying to fight. Who brought our asses here violently? Who came here and took this land from the indigenous people violently deceived them, and then gave them viruses and stuff that they had never had to endure. Who done that? It wasn't black people. It wasn't minorities. It was you immigrants that came over here, white immigrants, Europeans, that stole this land from somebody else. And the other problem that we're having with this war, does anybody in this room believe Trump believes in the Bible and a higher power? Raise your hand. Not a damn hand in the air, ladies and gentlemen. They are using white nationalist Christianity to their advantage to, number one, keep people dumb, and number two, use that religion as a propaganda tool to get these fools to fall in line. I saw Mike Huckabee the other day talking about Israel is the Holy Land, and you got rapture preppers who really and truly in their heart believe, ladies and gentlemen, that in order for them to go to heaven, they're going to have to get to Israel, the Holy Land, and that's when God is going to come and for all the Christians. So I guess what happens to everybody else in their religions? Well, I guess they're just going to burn in hell, huh? No. We should be learning from Europe. All these years, we need to separate church and state. Those stories of the cardinals and the kingdom, those are real. And we need to learn to take a cue and separate these two so that we don't have people falling victim to this bull jive and electing people such as Trump. And it's so hypocritical for those same people to be talking about they Christ-like, but you voted for Trump, who you know is convicted felon. You are ushering this war that you know we don't need. I still can't get over the January 6th riots. I still can't get over that. I don't know how y'all do monkey double backflips in your brain to make that good. But then again, like Boykin said, white people accept white people being violent, but we don't accept nobody else being violent. So post your comments, folks. Let me know what you think. Who knows how long this war is going to last. And the other issue with the war is it's going to fall back on the consumer. All those goods that got to come through the Strait of Hormuz are going through turmoil. Oil and gas prices are going to go up. I drive an electric car. It's not going to hurt me as much. But the other things that come from oil, the rubber, the plastics, the plates, the other things that come from that are going to hurt me and hurt all of you guys. So folks, think about this. Stop just saying, let go, let God, and start thinking, let God, but I need to critically think my way through how it works on earth as well. Post your comments. Let me know what you think. Now we'll get on to my boy, Telerico. He won last night soundly, and guess what he did? He energized the youth vote, which the Democratic Party turned off during Kamala's election. Take a look at what my man had to say, and then we'll talk about him. I do have some questions about it.
The number of young people who showed up to vote in this election is unprecedented. The number of Texans who have never voted before but showed up in this election is unprecedented. The number of independents and Republicans who voted in this Democratic primary is unprecedented. This is proof that there is something happening in Texas. Tonight, the people of our state gave this country a little bit of hope. And a little bit of hope is a dangerous thing. I want to thank y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in this fight. God bless y'all. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. You've seen many clips of this man debating the right, debating MAGA, going into deep red places where people pretend to be Christians, debating them and winning some of them over. When this race started, I said to myself, the white dude is going to win. I already knew that. This is Texas. Jasmine Crockett was going to have a hard road to pull to be a charismatic Opie in Texas. Some people are even comparing this man to John F. Kennedy, the charisma and the swagger he has. I just hope he don't go Marilyn Monroe on us when he get into office, because I think he could make a run for the White House. I think that Telerico is going to be good for the people, and he would make a good senator. I do think he can do that. My question is, does he align with AIPAC? Will he, when the rubber meets the road, because all the things Trump has done to this country, we need them undone, and we need them undone with extra speed. Is Telerico going to be for breaking some eggs that Donald Trump has already broken? Is he going to be for making them smaller? Is he going to be for speeding things up, like possibly expanding the Supreme Court because they're crooked, putting some kind of a check and balance on a rogue president? We've got to do that. Is he going to be for tax? Well, we already know he's willing to tax the billionaires. You know, he's going to do that. He comes from being a teacher. And we do need more everyday people working in the office, elected office. So we need that because they're more in touch with what's going on with everyday life than anybody else. Now, he spent some years working in the state congressional pool, but he's also spent years just being a regular old dude. And I'm happy to see him go. But I question, will he be corrupted the higher up he goes? I'm telling you right now, if you want to make a prediction, he's going to win the Senate race. He's going to win it. And will he be able to carry that energy and fulfill what the young people are voting for him for? The young people are voting for him because they don't want to see these atrocities happening in the Middle East and Iran and Israel. They're tired of that. They're voting for him because they want to see this wealth inequality shift back to the middle class, not the rich. They're voting for him because they want these things done by Trump undone. They're voting for him because they want justice for the Epstein files. They're voting for him because he is charismatic. They're voting for him because in debate, he's witty as hell and he don't even use cuss words. Think about that. He undressed your ass without using the cuss word. And that's why he won. And I could easily see him running for president and winning too. But the higher up you go, the more grungy, the more crooked the job gets. And will he have the cojones to make the right decision, moving us more in a progressive socialist nature so that everybody can benefit from the country's tax money and not just the billionaires and the ultra rich? Let me know what you think about Telerico. I like him. Jasmine gave a gracious speech about how she lost. And I do see her still in politics somewhere. She's too talented. She's too smart. She's witty. She's everything Telerico was. It's just that she happens to be a black woman. She's everything he is. And she's already served in Congress. She got experience. She's got the it. But this just wasn't the race for her. And maybe we could see a ticket with her and Telerico as president and vice president. Love to see that. Post your comments. And as I said, I believe he will win the presidency. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that there are apps out there. He'll win the Senate seat and go on the presidency. You know there are apps out there such as Kalshi that allow you to go and take bets on this stuff. And this is what it looks like. Kalshi is a predictions market. You can bet on sports. You can bet on Bitcoin rising. You can bet on which stocks you think will go. You can bet on which politician you think will win in local races. Anything your little sweetheart wants to place a wager on because you think you know it all, you can get it right here on Kalshi. The link is in the video description. And if you use my code, you will get $10 on your first prediction, which leads me into my next ad. For those of you that want to supercharge your predictions, especially in sports, my new ad revenue comes from Edge AI. Take a minute to recognize a sponsor on this channel, Edge AI Sports. Everybody today has access to any one of your sports betting apps, DraftKings, Kalshi, it doesn't matter. But when you need an edge in getting the best probability to winning, Edge Sports has you covered. Edge Sports has the state-of-the-art, real-time, real-minute data that lets you know who is the best proponent to pick on. It even has such things as app tracking, hot picking, who is the best to win, and the AI can generate you its win rate. See right here, it shows you the win rate the AI has done, a 212 and 71, 55% win rate. If you would have done what the AI had done, you would have made 5.7% on your money. This technology also does prop betting, and it updates in real time so that you know who's in the game and who's out. If you want to get a free trial, go to the link below where you will see a link under my video. And if you ever need to know how it works, they make it simple for you to just go through the app. Improve your odds of winning that next bet with Edge AI Sports. Doesn't matter if it's boxing, doesn't matter if it's college, doesn't matter if it's croquet, doesn't matter if it's tennis. Edge AI has your edge to winning the bet. Thank you to my new sponsor, and thank you to all the new people coming to this channel. Now let's get back into the content. I've already said that I think the main reason we're at this war is to try to continue to have another distraction and try to rob another country of their goods. That brings us right back here to the DOJ and the Epstein files. I've got two clips I want you guys to take a look at involving the DOJ, their dastardly ass, and MAGA will follow in suit behind that. Take a listen.
The Department of Justice is surveilling which Epstein files members of Congress are looking at, and some members believe they're using that information to redact sections of the unredacted database.
Files other members have seen that I was supposed to follow up on are now gone. So multiple files that have been documented are gone.
An investigation by NPR found that the DOJ has been removing documents from the public database that involve Trump, but it looks like that may only be the tip of the iceberg in an apparent cover-up of the full scale of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. This has happened a number of times with the public-facing Epstein files. Someone finds information that seems worthy of investigation, it gets reported on, the story starts to gain traction, then poof, the files are gone. And in almost every instance, it's had something to do with women who claim to have been sexually assaulted by Trump or are proof of his close relationship with Epstein. The excuse is almost always that they're removing the files to protect victims. And to be fair, they have published nude photos of victims as well, so some things have needed to be taken down. But the names of clients, co-conspirators, or even just friends of Epstein are required by law to remain unredacted. And the way that's supposed to be ensured is by giving Congress access to the full unredacted files. That way, if there's a suspicious redaction, they can go in and verify, fulfilling their constitutional obligation as a check on the executive branch. But that's not what's happening.
I was in the Department of Justice today reading the unredacted Epstein files, which are clearly still very redacted. There's nothing about transparency right now. It's continuing to block and tackle and shade and protect men of privilege and men of wealth in this country, and it's got to stop.
I've spoken to about a dozen members of Congress so far about their experience going in to review the unredacted files, and their experience is almost always the same. The process is designed to be a painful one. The computers and unredacted search tools have been described as archaic, they're under surveillance, and what they're being presented with is not the full files.
They have to give you a discrete login number, which is how they're tracking us. That's a serious problem, right? To have the executive branch spying on the legislative branch. First, they said it was fine for us to bring in our own printed material. Then they said you couldn't bring in printed material. They did not want us comparing the unredacted to the redacted. Even the versions that we're seeing, there are still a lot of things that are redacted.
And because they're only allowed in there for a short amount of time, it's nearly impossible to fully document what they're reading. So members have started asking other members of Congress to double check things for them. But then people like Representative Dexter started to notice they couldn't find the files that were there before.
It may be that they're seeing what we're finding and then that brings things to light. We have no idea. All this is conjecture.
But it's almost impossible to know for sure without a congressional investigation, as this whole process is shrouded in secrecy and bogged down with bureaucracy, all in direct violation of the spirit and the letter of the Epstein Files Transparency Act.
It's just like my grandma say, if you ain't got nothing to hide and you're being called on, show it up. And here we have, they are supposed to be by law giving these files up. But problem is we have nobody in position to enforce anything. And so in essence, they're getting away with it. And I mean, Democrats could do a better job of making a stink, like Jasmine Crockett does, like AOC does, like Bernie does. You could get out here and stay in front of microphones, keeping the pressure on. But we've got a bunch of Democrats that aren't trying to do that. I've actually seen more Republicans that are pressing this matter than some of the Democrats who are staying quiet. This is so harmful and dangerous for democracy, ladies and gentlemen. You are seeing, this is Watergate on steroids in front of your eyes. Somehow, some way, these white dudes in the Trump administration feel so emboldened that they can do these crimes right in front of your face and it don't matter. And the only reason why they feel that way is because MAGA is so uneducated, so dumb, so full of hate that they would rather their own Americans who want real justice, real law and order burn and hurt themselves than to have their man Trump get thrown under. You don't believe me? Take a listen to this from my boy Dean Withers.
Let's say you're right. I'll grant that you're right, and he's on the list and all the things, and you're right about all the accusations you've been making. Why is it wrong that he did those things?
Are you asking me why it's wrong to rape children?
Yeah, I need you to tell me why it is wrong in your eyes
to rape children.
To do that. Yes. Do you need me to repeat it? Can you not hear me? Do you have too many talks in your ears, or what's up? Why is it wrong? Is that too hard of a question?
It's happening. It's actually happening.
Why don't you actually answer the question?
It's actually happening.
No, because I asked the question. Why are you?
I didn't think this one would happen. You know, we see it often. They'll say that something's wrong, and then Trump will do it, and then they'll defend it. Did that with J6. Did that with the J6 pardons. Did that with the Medicaid cuts. Did that with the SNAP cuts. Just didn't think they'd do it with child rape.
Obfuscating. Let's just get to the fucking point, bro.
I just didn't think they'd do it with child rape. And now we're seriously at that point where Trump's supporters are now saying that it's not wrong to rape children and asking why it is wrong to rape children.
Yeah, that happened. This is the same group of MAGA conservatives that have been preaching and screaming from the mountaintops about how we need to protect our children from the LGBTQ community. And it's been them all along. They have...
Of course, it's been them all along. It's called projection, ladies and gentlemen. If I project that this other group of people is doing wrong, you won't be looking at me. And if I keep you dumb and keep you in the Bible, you won't have any worldly knowledge, so that when I do mess up, I can just say God is forgiving. And somehow, some way, you'll be willing to forgive me, but your asses ain't willing to forgive Michael Vick for dog fighting. And this right here is way more heinous than dog fighting. I can remember before Michael Vick was even convicted, just the allegations. You had people protesting. You had people saying that they won't come to football games no more. He was the most hated man in America for a little bit. And we've got all these rich white dudes on this Epstein list, and y'all don't hate them for raping children, boys and girls. I think sometimes it gets lost that they was raping boys too. And I'll remind you guys of this. Every time the Republican convention comes to a city near you, Grindr gets shut down because there's too much traffic up there. You put the two together. I ain't marrying them. You put them together. And so it does bother me that for whatever the reason, people are okay with white guys getting away with whatever the hell they want to get away with. Especially people that's talking about they into the church, they into the Bible, they into all that bullshit. That bothers me. This man clearly is MAGA, doesn't have a problem with Trump getting on top of a 13-year-old. And here's the thing I've heard in locker rooms, and I quickly jumped in there and said, y'all dead wrong for this. They'll sit here and their excuse would be, well, you know, back in the old days, back in the slavery days, the minute a woman started bleeding, we was getting up in there. And I turned and looked at the old man. I said, that's the reason why your dick done fell off. Just for that kind of thought process. Come on, man. These are children. You can do better than this. We need justice. And this is where I kind of worry about Telerico. Are you going to be mean enough to excite the heavy hand of justice against these dickwads, against these twats, against these white collar white men who have the money to throw at the government, but should easily be defeated by the government if we can save some of these files that they're shredding and redacting every day as if Shaka Khan was singing in jail. They're redacting the shit left and right. Folks, it's not just the victims that need justice. America needs justice. We need to believe that the justice system does not just work for the rich and wealthy, because right now this country seems like it's only working for the rich and wealthy. And the average numbnut that just sits there and is a white nationalist and reads his Bible, wants to go watch NASCAR on the weekend, go buy 5,100 guns that he can't afford, know nothing about how inflation and the rich people getting government money works against them. And if you listen to what I just said, inflation, rich people getting government money, that should tell you how it works against you. But I guarantee you they don't know nothing about it. And so, folks, post your comments, man. This is what's coming from MAGA. That's that diehard 20 to hopefully it done shaved down to 18% that are still supporting this man tooth and nail. And we need to nail their asses to the wall. Charlie Kirk, folks. Lord have mercy. They're comparing his ass to some of the great legends of freedom, Martin Luther King and some others. I can't make this up. You take a look.
DC. This is the Department of Education. Charlie Kirk has a banner at the Department of Education. Mind you, I have 8 letters behind my last name. Charlie Kirk never earned a postgraduate degree of any kind. I have a couple, but he's on the Department of Education. This is white supremacist propaganda. Welcome to America.
All day it is. Charlie Kirk was not going around preaching education. He was going around preaching that girls go to college to find a man. He was preaching that white nationalist Christian bull jive. He just happened to go do it at college campuses because he got popular with the dudes who couldn't get no dates because you had to work to get the woman. He got popular with those men. And then the women that really didn't want to have to go to college, that wanted to find a man, he got popular with them. Then he sold us this line about being a family man. And then we later learned, they say, that his wife was about to leave him. Folks, he should not be on anything that's educational. No textbook, no encyclopedia, nothing. Hell, get his ass out of Investopedia. He don't need to be on nothingpedia, okay? Not even Pedialyte, because he did not preach a message of education, unity, and he preached a message of pure division. Remember him talking about if it was a black woman flying the airplane, he would be scared. He would have questions. Why? Honestly, the strongest species in all the world is the African-American woman. They lead the nation in education. And you got the nerve to say you'd be scared if they was flying your plane, as if they're not going to be educated on how to fly the plane. As if, even though we have DEI, you still don't have to meet the requirements and the certificates of whatever the job calls to get the damn job. Stop it. Stop it. It is white propaganda. It is trying to keep white dudes feeling like they're superior. And you know what? It's not working as much, buddy. It's not, because folks is tired of wars. A lot of MAGA is saying that they didn't want to be in the war. But then I always say to myself, okay, MAGA is saying that, but are they really going to vote that or stay their ass home and not vote? So far, it seems like that's what they're doing. They're either staying home or they're voting blue. But I need to see something sweeping happen at the midterm before I give them some credit. And our final story of the night, ladies and gentlemen, MTG. I used to call her Marjorie Trailer Park Trash Greene. She claims she's dipping on Trump. Take a listen to what she just said just the other day.
We need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for and who is making these decisions. And I don't want to see any more dead and murdered. Our military is filled with some of the greatest people from our country, and God bless their families who are probably losing their minds right now, terrified that their son or daughter or their husband or wife or brother or sister may come home in a flag draped coffin. And then we have the president who, by the way, Megan, this really needs to be said. Donald Trump has said repeatedly on camera and in interviews, he doesn't think he's going to heaven. Well, I want to ask a question, a serious question. What is in his mind? What is his mental state? If he doesn't think he's going to heaven and he is a man towards the end, he's in the fourth quarter, he's towards the end of his life. How does that pan out for the rest of us when we have a president of the United States who doesn't think and is convinced he's not going to heaven? What does that mean his decision making is? He already said to the New York Post today that he doesn't care about the polling. He doesn't care about what the American people think, and he may put troops on the ground. He took this is going to be a few-day war, to now it's going to be maybe 4 weeks or more. I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported, the man that denounced what happened in Iraq, the man that said no more foreign wars, no more regime change, promised it on the campaign. J.D. Vance promised it. Tulsi Gabbard promised it. All of them promised it. And we're a year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for and who is making these decisions.
What? Anybody WWE fan remember the Stone Cold era? What? Bitch, please. You knew this about that man when you voted for him the first time, and you voted for him this time too. You are a full triple Trumper. Don't believe me? Check out the merch, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the merch. This woman was riding Trump's penis like it was a surfboard all over it. And what happened? They disavowed her. They made her a little upset. And now she's thinking about running for office. But what she's really doing here is something the Democrats should be doing. She is filling a void for those people who are kind of like in the middle. They don't want to see us go to war, but they don't want to go all the way progressive. They understand that we shouldn't be fucking with Israel. They understand that the Epstein files is wrong. And she's trying to get right up in the middle of there to get those votes because she's running for president. Oh, make no mistake. She's made plenty of money in Congress, more money than what she should have made. And now she's softening her brand. And everything she just said sounds like she's listening to some Democrat podcasts like mine. And that's dangerous for us because when she starts making sense to some of those who are kind of just jumped off the fence from MAGA and trying to find a place to go, they go to her, and folks, she's no better than Trump. She's not. She's talking a good game, but she's not better than Trump. I mean, this chick is bipolar. 1 minute, she's talking about, she hates Trump. We need to know what the F is going on. And then the next minute, she's on Twitter talking about space lasers. Same woman. Same woman. Do y'all forgot how she went at Jasmine Crockett? And Jasmine Crockett had to shut her down, bleach blonde, bad built butch body. That's the same woman now who's crying tears because MAGA dumped her. Trump dumped her ass. Trump said, no more of you. You are a distraction for me. I'm through with you. And now she's railing against him. MAGA, this is the kind of woman MAGA can get behind. Do I think they would vote her president? No. No, they're not going to vote her president. But she can garner an audience and do some damage with her brand. She can peel off people that should be going progressive. And I guess in one light, you got to think about it like this. If everything you have seen come out from this country hasn't forced you more to the left, you don't believe in democracy. You don't believe in freedom. You don't believe in justice. You don't believe in none of that. Because at this point, there really should be nobody left who's on the Republican side. Nobody. All the tropes that Republicans used to tell us they believe in, we now see full display. It's a lie. You know, the ones who, I'm fiscally conservative, or I love the military. I'm for family values. I used to always say to my soon-to-be ex-wife, it makes me so mad when I hear these rich white guys talking about, I just want to go spend time with my families, when you done pilloried other families so that you can have the opportunity to go do shit that other families can't do. It still drive me crazy because enough people haven't understand that they're projecting and they're hypocrites. But we can't trust Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nope. You can listen to her because she's dropping facts now. She is spitting facts. But saying words is one thing. Putting those words to action is something else. Now, when she shows me something actionable, that's when I can start to believe her. But post your comments and let me know what you think. I'm glad she's turning. I'm glad she's doing that. Maybe she'll go from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Marjorie Taylor Black. How would y'all accept her into the Black delegation? She can't come to my cookout just yet. I need to see some action. We're going to take the time to shout out my sponsor one more time before we get out of here, Edge AI. Take a minute to recognize a sponsor on this channel, Edge AI Sports. Everybody today has access to any one of your sports betting apps, DraftKings, Kalshi, it doesn't matter. But when you need an edge in getting the best probability to winning, Edge Sports has you covered. Edge Sports has the state-of-the-art, real-time, real-minute data that lets you know who is the best proponent to pick on. It even has such things as app tracking, hot picking, who is the best to win, and the AI can generate you its win rate. See right here, it shows you the win rate the AI has done, a 212 and 71, 55% win rate. If you would have done what the AI had done, you would have made 5.7% on your money. This technology also does prop betting, and it updates in real time so that you know who's in the game and who's out. If you want to get a free trial, go to the link below where you will see a link under my video. And if you ever need to know how it works, they make it simple for you to just go through the app. Improve your odds of winning that next bet with Edge AI Sports. Doesn't matter if it's boxing, doesn't matter if it's college, doesn't matter if it's croquet, doesn't matter if it's tennis. Edge AI has your edge to winning the bet. Thank you to my sponsor, Edge AI Sports. And ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much going to do it for me. All you new subscribers, thank you so much for coming through, tuning in. I do accept super chats, I'll just remind you. And if you're really trying to figure out how to navigate my channel, I've got everything laid out in a shorts playlist so that you don't got to go to TikTok. You ain't got to go to Instagram. All the latest and greatest news in politics, you can get it right here on my channel under the shorts tab, under the Epstein files. I put that stories together. I've got the Trump stories together. I got the Epstein list together. I've got the Iran war together. I've got all these playlists to make surfing shorts very easy. Call me the progressive political aggregate right here. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out Kalshi if you want to start doing betting on politicians, betting on sports. You can do it all. And then if you want to get that steroid-based edge in those bets, go get Edge Sports AI. And until that next Sexy as Hell video, I'm out.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.